I'm not an art guy, so I don't look, it's a painting. Like the Mona Lisa don't do that for me, man. First of all, it's a dude, so it's a dude. I mean, what are we talking about? Am I wrong?
No, you talking about the Mona Lisa?
Is the Mona Lisa and it a dude?
No.
The Mona Lisa is a dude. John, am I tripping? I'm tripping.
Yes.
No, man. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. And from our dog, Nate, welcome back once more to Off the Bench. Of course, I'm DeMarcus, and as y'all can see, I got my boy John back on the show again. He's usually behind the scenes making everything y'all see happen, but today he's joining me in the chair. What's going on, John?
What's up, dude?
How you feeling today?
Pretty good.
I'm not gonna lie, I was telling Jake today, I was a little tired coming into church.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you, but you know how okay, I'm tired, but I got these list of things I need to do.
Yeah.
So I need to find that energy. And I felt like I found that, right before we came on the podcast.
That's good.
Because I was, like I said, Wednesday was rough.
Yeah.
Wednesday was pretty rough. But today's
seems like you got pretty fired up.
Yeah, today was feeling good because, like I said, with everything went on in church today with bringing friends. So I was like, that kind of anxiousness of like, how are they going to enjoy it? What's going to happen?
How's it going to go?
Are they going to show up?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Are they going to show up on time? So, like, all that. But then, like I said, everything happened the way it was supposed to, and it was they had a great experience. And like I said, I'm happy that they came. Yeah. So that's why I say coming into the pod, like, now I got even more energy, like, ready to go, especially with the topics that we got today.
For sure, yeah.
So hope everybody that's watching, y'all having a great day, a great Sunday. Thank you again, as always, for watching. And if you're watching us right now, please hit that like button, that share button, that follow button. If you're watching on YouTube, as well as like, subscribe, and share our content. All right, so, John, what we got on the plate first thing?
So we're jumping into the NBA.
Okay. Yeah, there's been a lot going on, John.
Yeah, we're going to jump into the NBA.
We had Dylan on the last episode, and, we broke some news on Dame Lillard, so you got something different for me today?
Yeah, so here's a few things. We're going to probably jump back into the whole Dame situation.
Gotcha.
But we're gonna start out with some vices.
Okay.
So players, vices, and the effects it can have on a team or organization.
Okay. So, go ahead.
First off,
yes.
How many players have you found to either do something illegal or bring other players into certain illegal situations where then it negatively affects the team and the other players?
Now, growing up, of course, Little League basketball to middle school basketball to high school basketball, not so much. Of course, you had a couple guys, but I think there was enough, especially on my high school teams, there was enough guys that were like trying to, when they say straighten up and fly right, trying to keep everything in line. Yeah. They kind of kept those guys, at bay, and they didn't have too much of an influence. But now in college, and then my short stint as a professional, I saw it a lot.
Yeah,
and it was one of those things where it's like you see, I think it kind of gives you that false reality. You see this particular player being able to perform well, even while doing those things. So then it convinces you as the young player that don't have those experiences. Well, if he's doing it, and it's successful for him, then obviously if I dabble in it a little bit, it's not going to harm me.
Right.
But then I think, those vices can, really hurt a team, because then you have a player that reacts to that vice a whole lot different than you would.
For sure.
So like, let's say smoking weed, for instance. You might be able to smoke weed, because I know, but one of my best friends in high school, he could smoke weed and score 40 points.
Yeah.
But the next person would try to do that, and they couldn't
keep up.
Couldn't keep up with it.
Yeah.
So that's why I say everybody's reaction to that type of vice is different too. But I think as long as you have enough guys on the team, as long as you have, and if you're talking about professional, scale organization, as long as you have enough people in the organization that are in a leadership role and they understand that's going on, but they really address it the right way and make sure these players understand, hey man, what you're doing off season, that's one thing. But during season, you got to be this way in order for us to be successful as an organization.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at some point, obviously marijuana is becoming more legal, and
not much as not looked as bad as
not as many players are having an issue, or even organizations are having an issue with players doing that. But I see it more so as how healthy and how strong that you need to be on the court. So like some players, they take their physical and mental health. Not to say that marijuana doesn't help that. But, like sometimes they don't want to stray because I smoked pot whenever I was a teenager. Quite a bit. And it made me very lazy. It made me like just chill,
not want to do much,
not want to do anything. But it was it felt good, right? But that was it for me. So I wonder if even some of these players are like, I don't want to feel that way on the court because I want to be able to be as focused as possible.
Well, I think too, for me personally, even though I saw certain guys have success with it, I still just never inside of me is like, you know what? I don't know how my body's going to react to that. So I don't want to put some of my body that I'm not prepared for. Because I don't know if is it going to hinder me or is it going to elevate me. Right. So I just always like, hey, that's what they do. And I just kind of stayed on the trend of let me just focus on doing what I know to work for me. And then, like I said, but if it starts to become a detriment to the team, then I'll address that individual and say, hey, man, listen, you're one of our better guys. We want you to be a part of the situation, but you just got to calm that down because that's going to start influencing people the wrong way. And because you can go to gambling, you can go to partying, you can go to a lot of other different vices that, especially on a professional level, it's like magnified times 10. Because if you're doing anything, they're doing at a level that probably these players, men and women have never seen it at that level.
I'm kind of surprised we don't hear more stories about them gambling more of their money, because of how much they're making.
A lot of them, once they retire, you watch these documentaries, you learn that, oh my God.
Yeah, they spend a lot of money.
Like, I watched the Johnny Manziel documentary, and he talked about all the stuff he was doing. And how when he finally got to a professional level, he didn't even want to be in that environment because of the scrutiny, the pressure, and I think, like I said, the mental health that it was, weighing on him to be a part of that level. So I think, those vices, man, at some points of your life, they can be good, but a lot of points of your life, they can be a detriment for sure. But, you hope that guys have been taught the right way to deal with those situations. And then, of course, the people that are already in that level, whether it be NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB, you hope those guys like, hey, man, listen, you might follow him, but you don't follow him too hard. On everything he does.
Well, speaking of being a good leader, you kind of hit it for a second. We're gonna transition over to the next question. What makes a leader? Is it a best player? Is there more than one leader? A vocal leader, by example leader? What is your opinion on that?
So, I know you before we got on here off camera, you tell me you had the perfect definition for leader.
I do.
So I'm gonna give my opinion first, and then I want to hear what your definition is on leader. So in my personal opinion and personal experience and perception, I've seen the best leaders I have seen have been guys and girls that just do by example. Because the do by example leader, they're vocal. Of course, action-wise, they're going to perform a certain way. They're going to be on time. They're going to work hard in practice. They're going to work hard in the game. And then they're not necessarily the best player. There might be, and in my opinion, there's more than just one leader too. Because if you look at any team, I don't care if it's, middle school, high school, or college, or NBA, every team has more than just one leader. Not every team has more than one best player though. Because there's a lot of best players on teams that don't lead at all.
Right. Like
if you look at how they move, you would kind of stray more from them and say, no, don't do what they do. But they just happen to be the best player. Like that's why there's only one LeBron James in the league, because he's a best player, lead by example, he's like all of them. And most guys aren't all of them. So what's your definition of a leader?
So leadership in all forms. Doesn't matter if it's in sports, if it's in business, it doesn't matter where it's at.
Don't matter the environment.
Leadership is influence.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter if it. Let's just you gave the example of an NBA player.
Yeah.
That NBA player may not be the best baller, but if he has everyone's ear and they respect him,
he has
and they look up to him,
he has the influence.
He has the influence over them.
Okay.
So they're going to listen to what he has to say, regardless of whether or not he can prove he can do certain things.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I can see that.
So,
I mean, if you take that idea, then like I say, that's why social media has grown to the level that it's grown to. It's because of people's influence online,
right,
and their ability to gravitate to all different people and bring them over here to their side to do the things that they're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense. Influence. I never thought about it like that, but yeah, that is true. Because like I say, if you're any of those different styles of leaders, you're going to have influence.
Yep. And what's crazy is a lot of times this stuff, like when you become a leader, it takes time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
it takes time to learn how to influence people. It takes time to learn how to do that. One great example, which is one of our presidents, Abe Lincoln, who tried his best for the longest time. I mean, a really long time to be to influence people. He failed a ton.
Yeah.
But eventually he became the president of the United States. So it goes to show that eventually he started influencing people. Regardless of how many failures he had, regardless of how he may not have been the best choice, he still he was able to
tap into that,
work on that,
into the power of influence.
So, with all that to say, is how many of those players, those NBA players, NFL players, it doesn't matter, whichever sport. How many of these guys are creating influence? Here's a great example.
Okay.
One of the biggest highlights right now in the NFL, which I know we're not like in the NFL right now because we're talking about NBA.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest highlights right now is Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's crazy right now.
Right. But the thing is like the Kelce brothers.
Yeah.
Were kind of already
it was already
deal,
trending. Yeah, they
right?
were already trending to be a big deal.
But he was carrying a lot of influence with him, in the NBA or no, in the NFL.
Yeah.
And so it goes to show with that and other bigger players, how much influence did they carry, how many people actually follow them and listen to what they have to say.
Yeah. And then just staying on Travis Kelce and specifically, once the talk about him and Taylor Swift became like a topic, and then now it's like, okay,
it's blown up.
It's like real. And like, bro, I was looking at numbers that he was doing, like just, of course he has endorsements, he has merchandise, he has all that stuff. Like to see like the numbers, 300% increase in merchandise sales since he announced that him and Taylor Swift, and they haven't really even told anybody what they're really doing. They're just hanging out.
Yeah.
So, but the fact that she's at a game, sitting in the press box, watching football with his family, cheering them on, like people are like going crazy.
People love it.
And the power of her, I didn't know, like just
her fan base
Taylor Swift
is absolutely
listen,
crazy.
Taylor Swift in general,
yeah,
she has a type of influence I've never seen before.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
I've never
crazy.
seen it. Never seen
crazy.
it, bro. Her and Beyonce, I don't understand it. I don't understand the power of influence that they have, and they got a ton of it.
They have it.
And now you got what they call them, the Swifties or whatever they call her group,
her little group.
Now they're watching football now, and I'm like, hold on, does Taylor Swift even like football for real? That's a question. That's a question I had in my mind. Like, does she really like football?
I mean, it looked like she did.
Yeah.
Whenever she was up in the box,
in the press box,
she was having a good time.
Yeah,
she was watching.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm not saying that she doesn't like sports. Because maybe she does. Maybe she's always watched sports, and we don't know.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you always hope that these people aren't just, like you said, doing this for like the hype and all that stuff. You hope that they're actually liking that particular sport.
Well, what I can say is, I'm not a fan of her music personally.
Hey man,
it's nothing against her.
You better watch yourself. Talking like
great.
that. Talking like that.
No. She's great.
Our fan base will be on our time.
I know.
Be on our time.
Listen. You can say what you want, but the thing is like I just don't like any other music genre. I'm not a big fan of just listening to her.
Yeah.
So I mean, not to say she's bad, not to say that. I mean, obviously she is, because she wouldn't have the influence and the money and and all these things.
The impact in the industry.
Like how many genres she's jumped through. Like, yes.
Yeah.
But all that to say, come back around to what we were talking about is like, people. I don't think they subconsciously. I don't think they realize that they're looking up to people.
Mm-hmm.
And whether Taylor admits it or whether Travis or his brother, like any of these bigger players and celebrities, whether they like it or not, they are leading something.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So whether it's good or bad, you know, they have a lot of influence.
That's true. I have to agree with that. But yeah, that's definitely a great example of what we're seeing when you talk about just the power of it. Just the sight of them automatically pushes people in his direction to follow it or not then.
Yeah.
So I agree with you on that.
Well, let's move on to the next thing.
Okay.
So this was kind of a hot topic.
Okay.
LeBron came before MJ.
Okay.
And I think we were discussing this question was on a TikTok video that you watched.
Yeah, I watched it on TikTok and it was like a street video. Somebody walking to random people asking them like unpopular opinion, like questions or make a statement.
So she said, what did she say exactly?
So he basically was like, his question he posed to her was like, hey, what do you think about the LeBron James versus Michael Jordan argument? And she said to him was, if LeBron James came before MJ, it's not even a conversation. It's not even an argument. It's not a conversation. And then it goes off. And I was like, huh.
Yeah. And
even like as the video, you still see it going. Then the guy just pops up like, man, she needs to be on ESPN. And then it finally goes off.
Yeah.
And when I heard it at first, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. It does. But my opinion is, if you're telling me LeBron James came first and then Michael came after him, I can't even see it, because LeBron James doesn't exist ever if Michael Jordan don't come first.
Maybe.
Because the whole players became who they are because of the influence that Michael Jordan had on them as a child.
Yeah. Or other players.
Or other players.
Yeah. No, I mean, I 100% agree with that. I think there's such nostalgia for me in my mind.
Yeah.
I think there's such nostalgia and there's such a classic.
Yeah.
I don't know how to call it. It's just the way that Michael Jordan played back then. The NBA was way different.
Yeah.
The way that everything was done was just completely different.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't see, like, watching LeBron now and watching Michael Jackson back then. Michael Jordan, excuse me.
Mike Jackson, one of the greatest too now.
Yeah, well, you know, this is the same, 90s thing here.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan then, it just shows the differences in their play, and also just like, to me, I just felt like Michael was more aggressive in his play style.
I honestly wish this conversation has been going on for a long time. It's been going on since I was a child, and I kind of wish that people would quit comparing them two. Yeah. I wish we would have more of a Kobe and Michael argument, and then a LeBron and Magic Johnson argument, because I'm strictly, as a ball player, as a basketball, guy that just always tries to look at different layers of an argument.
Right.
I truly believe those are better arguments because of the play style.
Sure.
Because to me, if we're talking about play style, if we're talking about influence, if we're talking about business, if we're talking about, understanding how to have a global impact, Michael Jordan was the first one to do that.
Yeah.
That's why LeBron James is able to be what he is, because Michael Jordan came first. Mm-hmm. Because if he didn't come first, the NBA is not the NBA.
Yeah.
Because Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, they were keeping it together. They were trying to keep it together. Yeah. But once MJ came, And then they came out with his shoes, and he had a signature, and he had a slogan, and had all these things. Then he started really tapping into the global side of the, you know, putting it over there in China, putting it all over the world where everybody knew who he was, and everybody wanted to be like him, wanted to play like him, wanted to have the swag, have the, you know, all the things that he had, the game. That's why he's the greatest. Not because, just like I say, we're talking about sheer skill set. Yes, he there are other skill sets that you might say, which a lot of people say LeBron, better passer, better this, better that. But at the end of the day, both skill sets are elite. But Michael Jordan and who he was to the game of basketball, none of the other players would ever be. Kobe wouldn't exist. Yeah. You know, they don't exist because the NBA's not there. Now, you can say, well, if LeBron would have been in the NBA, would have survived too. You probably can say that. But I don't know if MJ would have patented his game behind LeBron.
Yeah. I think the whole reason why a lot of times people just subconsciously, this is a subconscious thing.
Yeah,
they automatically want to compare is because Michael and LeBron had such great careers. And, you know, LeBron's still in. But, you know what I mean? Like, they have to compare it because at that point it's like, okay, these two phenomenal players. But it's like
two of the biggest names in the sport in their time of the sport.
Yeah.
I get it. LeBron James, biggest name in the NBA right now. He deserves it.
Yeah.
I've never, you know, as much people out there that talk to me and get in the comments will swear that I'm a LeBron hater. I'm not a LeBron hater. I think he's one, you know, top two greatest players to ever play. You know, accolades wise, he's got some great accolades. But like I say, if we're trying to really have a conversation about Michael Jordan versus LeBron, if anybody that's out there watching or that comes up when it has, if the only argument you can bring to me is he's a better passer, that's the only argument that y'all have for LeBron.
I mean, the whole
99% of the time, well, he's a better passer.
Well, apparently he's got weak handles, so.
And I'm not lying about that. That's okay. I'm not, you know, that's his game was never patent behind handles. He, you know, but like I say, if that's the only argument a lot of people want to have is the fact that he passed better than Michael, cool, you could say that. But that's just never been Michael Jordan's game, and that's not a lot of players' game. Right. There's only a few players in history that ever been known for passing the ball. Some of your top 100 or top 75 greatest players in the NBA history weren't great passers, or they weren't known for being efficient at passing the ball. What were they efficient at? Scoring, shooting, rebounding, and maybe handling the ball, or just the way they led their team, championships, whatever it is. Yeah, that's what they're great for.
I don't think
known to be great for.
I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there are any current NBA players who can check every single box off on the court.
You can't.
There's just no way.
It's impossible.
That's the reason why they have multiple players.
Exactly. You can't. Like, and that's why you see the whole super team has become like more of a real thing, because even the best players don't want to just be the best player on the team by themselves. They want other best players to play with them.
Yeah, because then at that point they have the ability to play off each other in a way that's going to help them win
and help them. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. That's why I say everybody want to have an argument about a lot of different things, but at the end of the day, how many rings are you winning? Yeah, you know, it's a lot of guys have better stats than Tom Brady, but he got 7 rings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of kills the conversation. Well, he threw for 10,000 more yards than Tom Brady, but how many rings does he have?
Yeah. And, you know, there's a lot to that.
It is.
His skill set, having key players on the team during those times.
Yep, that's true.
You know,
yep.
Like,
I mean, you don't win by yourself.
Right.
There's only a few individual sports in the world, like golf. That's the individual sport. Yeah. But even then, you see like Tiger Woods, how his career after the injuries, he's plummeted. Yeah. But there's any type of team atmosphere, you got to have other guys around you to help you win. Right. That's just what it is. Yeah. And we can't say neither one of them have had that. They both have had great players on teams with them. Yep. As much as I know, a couple of guys I know out here would say LeBron didn't have no help, and that's another argument for another day. But he's had plenty of help. Yeah. Just like Michael had plenty of help. They can't win by themselves. When they were by themselves, yes, individually they were amazing and everybody wanted to watch them. But what were they not doing? They weren't winning. 7-8 years of losing. It's like, all right, then you finally get that one star, and then you win.
Yep.
I want to see more of that. So guess what? We bring more stars in to help you keep winning, or bring more glue guys or guys that want to just do the minimal things that we need them to do in order for us to be a great team.
Yeah.
So, but y'all comment down below. Let us know what you think. If you think if LeBron James came first, then what argument wouldn't even be a thing, or do you feel kind of similar to how we feel? So
let's see what they say.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next thing.
Okay.
Let's see. So we're gonna stick with the NBA.
Okay.
Who has the best culture in the NBA as far as teams, as far as players, as far as managing, as far as just from top to bottom?
Okay. Of course, I'm a little biased, so I got to go with the Spurs.
Yeah.
But to be unbiased, I would say the Miami Heat has the best culture in the NBA.
Okay.
From the way that Pat Riley runs it, to the team, to the players they've either drafted, traded for, picked up in free agency, whatever it is, they always seem to get the guys that if they were on other teams, they would not be playing or not have an effect on the team, and then they come to Miami and they're playing and they're having a huge effect to the point where we're going into the playoff as an underdog and no one's looking for us to make it to the finals, and then boom, we're in the finals.
Nice, yeah.
Now, of course, they're not always winning, but the fact that they're able to get there and do it with a bunch of, kind of underdogs.
Yeah.
You gotta respect what they're doing as a culture.
I'm here for their jerseys, what they look like. You know what I mean?
Just, I'm here for the jerseys,
bruh. I agree. Got some nice.
Miami got some fire,
especially whenever they had the light blue and pink.
Yeah.
You know the whole. What was it? The 80s?
It's like the
Miami vibe.
Vice.
Miami Vice.
Yeah.
Look, man, that hits home with me. Not because of Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, I'll say.
But
a lot of people go to that. A lot of people are like, oh, that's like Grand Theft Auto. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they go like to Scarface. Scarface movie. And that was, at that time, the 80s and living in Miami and stuff like that. That was like the whole scene. Yeah.
So give me your top three. Your top three cultures? Best cultures in the NBA.
Okay, so of course I said the Spurs. I would go Miami. And then number 3, I would probably go the Golden State Warriors.
Okay. I was gonna ask you if they were
I would go Golden State Warriors just because of they've had great players, Chris Webber, Baron Davis of the world, Jason Richardson, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. They've had great players, but just organizational wise, the way they've been able to, draft a lot of their players. Now, of course, KD came in free agency, but like draft a lot of players or attract players to come play with them, and then just watch the development of those players to now they're either competing for a championship every single year or they're winning championships.
Yeah.
So I would definitely put them up there. And then, of course, some honorable mentions, Boston's, they got a good organization.
The Celtics?
Boston Celtics. Yeah. They got a good organization. I would go, Lakers, they do, they haven't been so great last probably 3-4 years, but I feel like they're starting to turn back to that way. Because I feel like with Kobe, that's what Shaq, Kobe era, that was like when they were at their peak of being a great organization, and they kind of fell off because they draft some player that didn't work out for them.
Right.
Then they got LeBron, and they kind of started trending,
right.
Back in that direction. So those would be my 2 honorable mentions, because the Celtics and the Lakers are just most tied for the most championships in the NBA. So obviously they organizational wise they know what they're doing because they're winning all these championships. But no, those would be my top 3 for sure.
Okay,
my top 3. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have no argument in that. Just because
and let us know too. Comment down below. Let us know. If you think of any other teams that would fit the best culture. Comment conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what other people say.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
So kind of along the lines of Dame swapping.
Yeah. Yeah. Trade to the Bucks.
Yeah. We just heard about Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
To the Bucks.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So my dad, he's a huge Boston fan.
Yeah.
So like immediately when the Dame trade went down, he called me. He was like, "Man, I ain't worried about that. I am not worried about that." And then I told him, I said, "Hey man, Portland's gonna trade Jrue Holiday, and y'all gonna end up getting him. Now, if y'all get Jrue Holiday, that's gonna be, that's gonna elevate y'all even more. And I can't wait to see, when Milwaukee plays y'all.
Yeah,
because that's gonna be the best Eastern Conference games every single time. And then right before we came on, boom, my ticket goes off. Jrue Holiday going to Boston.
Yeah.
So I love it. I mean, I think the Dame trade, this is the first time in a long time that I can remember that 3 teams were involved in a trade and every team won.
Yeah.
Usually it's like, okay, this team literally got gutted. They didn't get they didn't get nothing back. They got all these, draft picks, these, future draft picks, and then they got these players that nobody wants.
Right.
Phoenix got a bunch of great players. Mm-hmm. Portland got a bunch of great players and picks. And then with the Jrue Holiday trade, now they get even more players.
Yeah.
So now they're kind of, their rebuild looks a lot more successful than it did when they didn't have it.
Right.
So they're gonna look good. You got Bucks gonna look good. So I think, like I said, I love the trade for Dame because I wanted Portland to do right by him.
Yeah.
And send him to somebody that he can contend with, and also can be on the side of somebody that wants to win just as bad as he do. And what better player to be on the side of than the Greek Freak?
Yeah.
Because Greek Freak's never played with a player like Dame, and Dame ain't never played with a player like him. So I'm excited to see what they're going to look like on the floor. Of course, just like anything, it's going to take time.
Yeah.
Everybody going to think that, of course, I hear all the people on TV talking about their favorite to win a championship. I don't think for 1 second they're just going to come out this year and just blow through everybody and win the championship. I don't think so, because I think Boston's got a lot to say about that. Mm-hmm. I think Philly, even though they're kind of discombobulated with the James Harden situation, what they're going to do with him, are they going to trade him? Are they going to keep him? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But between those 3 teams, and like I said, the young upcoming teams in the East, I just don't see Milwaukee being the clear cut. Okay, they're gonna be in the championship.
Yeah.
For the Eastern Conference. We'll have to wait and see. But no, I love the Jrue Holiday pick because defensively he can guard one of the best players. And if you look at when Milwaukee played Boston, mm-hmm. he gave Jason Tatum,
right,
Jaylen Brown, he gave Malcolm Brogdon, Marcus Smart. He gave all them problems because I can come on the offensive end and be able to attack you, when I need to. Yeah. And then on defensive end, I'm strong enough and I'm able enough to guard you because you're just not gonna overpower me,
for sure,
like you would anybody else. So like I said, I love the trade. I can't wait. I'm so excited for the NBA, John. I can't tell you.
So let me ask you something.
Okay.
Do you think, or are you concerned with the potential of Dame getting injured early in the season?
I mean, that's possible for anybody.
I mean, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 injuries, mm-hmm. and this was earlier this year.
Yeah, I know.
6 injuries in less than 3 months.
Yeah. But I look at that as, okay, when you're a player of his magnitude and the volume of shots you got to shoot and the amount of time you're on the floor and being a part of a team where you don't have the necessary help, you're going to get injured more.
Okay.
Now he's on a team where he's not the focal point of the team. He has someone else. Plus, people are still forgetting about Chris Middleton. Mm-hmm. This gives Chris Middleton time to get healthy and then come and be able to help both of them carry the load. So now, like I said, he's going to be on a team where you still got Brook Lopez. You still got Bobby Portis. You still got Covington. I mean, you still got players on this team that are going to help Dame, and Dame's not going to feel like everything's all on him to perform every single night. Now, of course, he's going to ball out. He's going to play a lot of minutes, but it's not going to be as wearing on his body and on his game to play on Milwaukee team versus play on Portland team.
Yeah.
Because even like the end of the year, Portland was trying to make the playoffs, and Dame was healthy, but they were scratching him, saying don't play because they knew he wasn't happy. And they knew they were going to draft Scoot Henderson.
Yeah.
And they knew eventually once they did that, he's going to be ready to go. So we don't want him to be hurt trying to, move him somewhere. We want him to be healthy and able to move to this team and be fine. Because last thing you want to do is trade a hurt player because nobody wants them. I don't care who they are.
That's for any sport.
Any sport. Yeah. You don't want somebody that's going to come in already hurt because it's a lot of players that's happening for right now, and people are just you know what? I don't really want to talk about them. Mm-hmm. Like Ben Simmons is one example. My dad brought it up to me. I was like, man, listen, I want to see Ben Simmons be successful on the floor, but at this point, I'm I just want to see him because he's not available because every year he's hurt.
Right.
Embiid was like that for a while in his career. Every year he's hurt. When guys are hurt and they're not on the floor, you forget about their greatness.
Yeah.
And then you get to a point you know what? If you're just going to be hurt, nobody wants you. So, and so anybody talking about, oh, well, he looks like he's going to have a great season, and then the season comes in because we were 3 weeks away from the season starting.
Right.
So if you're hurt now, you're going to be hurt all year long.
Yeah.
This is what it is. So, but no, I just think the NBA is in a great place with this trade. I know there's a lot of my buddies out here that are Milwaukee fans that have been, talking to me, texting me about it in the timeline, in the comment section, talking about it. So I can't wait to see what Dame does with Greek. Yeah. I think it's gonna be great. I think he, they teamed up in the All-Star game last year, so I know that's a big thing for him too. But no, I'm excited, man. I can't wait. These 3 weeks can't come fast enough. They can't come fast enough because I'm football going. This is the best time of the year. You got baseball about to start, postseason about to start.
Yeah,
college football has been great. And for everybody that's out there watching too, I'm gonna speak on Colorado for a second.
Listen,
so
they may have lost, but they look good.
Like I said, and I've said this, I don't know how many people. What Deion is doing in Boulder has never been done in Boulder. I don't care if they don't win another game. What he's brought to that school, the energy, the players, the coverage, you can't ask for more because nobody's been watching Colorado. And the fact that USC struggled with them like they did, mm-hmm. and then like I said, of course, Oregon beat them. And then I was watching, college game day yesterday morning, and they were talking about, how everybody has something to say about, Deion. And they was talking about the coach from Oregon and how he was talking about how they're playing for clicks, we're playing for wins. And I find it very interesting that he said that, because I remember last time y'all played against somebody that actually had the talent that you had, you got your butt stomped. So, of course, you're more talented than Colorado, so you should stump them. But let's see what happens when now we can match up apples to apples, and I have just as much talent as you do. Will you beat me then?
Yeah, because I think that the coach probably was just running along the lines of that situation with Deion. Yeah. He's got to say something. Yeah, right? Because
you want something to kind of galvanize your team, to want to play hard and give them something to go out there and
it's
play
also really petty. It's there's no reason for that. I don't think there is. And back to kind of, what Deion's doing.
Yeah.
I believe this ever since he started coaching was his leadership ability is because how much influence he has.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got a ton of influence. Yeah. And so those kids that are coming in, they will do whatever they can to make him proud.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a young man, trying to impress your father for the first time. And that's how he look at every one of these boys as his kids. So, they're all out there striving to try to impress dad, a coach. Yeah. And then of course prove the naysayers along that y'all are only good because everybody's watching y'all. Y'all not really good. So like I said, to see what they did against USC. Now, of course, Oregon.
They almost beat USC.
Yeah, I'm saying.
And USC is ranked number 9, or they were. I don't know.
And I'm talking about, and to watch Shedeur go up against the Heisman Trophy winner and Caleb Williams, and go toe to toe, throw for throw, touchdown, almost touchdown for touchdown. I mean, Shedeur had 5, Caleb had 6. But Shedeur threw for more yards and had a better completion percentage.
He definitely showed out.
Yeah,
and if they would have won that, like, there's just no like.
Yeah.
There, of course, you're gonna have your bad days where you're gonna get stomped, like like what happened with them in Oregon. But like, I really think that they have a special team, and even if the rest of the season doesn't go all that well for them, I think the following season with them is going to be absolutely phenomenal.
This year is already a success. They won one game last year. They was 1-11 last year.
Oh yeah,
the fact that they've won 3, they were ranked after 3. Of course, they've dropped out of the rankings. They lost the last 2. But to watch how they're playing and watch what they're doing on this field and off the field, in the classroom, everything they're doing as a school and as a coaching staff and as players, the next few years in that school is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because now next year, those players that he couldn't get, he'll get them now because they'll want to transfer there. They'll want to come there and play for him.
If he stays. Just kidding.
No,
sorry.
No, I don't think he's going.
Yeah,
I don't think he moves. I don't think he moves anywhere.
Colorado really wants to keep him.
Yeah, I don't. And I think he wants to have influence in that particular community, influence in that particular, part of the country. So I just think, I think he has a lot he wants to accomplish there before he actually departs and goes somewhere. I don't think he ever goes like NFL or anything like that. I think he wants to stay in college because he wants to just have impact on young men.
Yeah.
And he know going to college, he loses that. Going to NFL, he loses that. So
as a Florida State fan, I am actually enjoying watching their football games.
I mean, listen, man, my Miami Hurricanes are playing good.
Yeah.
Florida State's playing good. I'm loving what I'm seeing. I can't wait for that matchup.
Did the Canes change outfits to black? I saw somebody say something about it.
So we have some black uniforms. I don't know what we're gonna wear when we play y'all. I mean, we're playing y'all in Tallahassee.
I didn't know if they unveiled it this past weekend because I didn't get to see the game.
They didn't unveil anything. So I know Tennessee unveiled their black and orange uniforms, but we haven't unveiled any like new uniforms.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We might do something different against Florida State. But
somebody posted they look so good.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was Photoshop or somebody messing, but
I'm saying,
if they come out with them black uniforms,
if we come out with them, that's what I'm saying.
Then things will go hard.
It's gonna go hard. So that's why. But I'm excited, man. I can't wait. And I think this year, whoever wins, whether it's Florida State or us, it's just great for Florida to have our Florida teams actually winning again. I know University of Florida kind of struggling.
Yeah.
But UCF, USF,
I am surprised at how many ACC teams are doing well this year.
Yeah. Just Duke, they doing well.
They're just, there's very few that haven't been defeated yet. I mean,
yeah.
They're all like 5-0 right now.
Yeah, a lot of them are. I mean, you still got. I think they were showing. I saw somewhere where I think it was ESPN. They were talking about it's like maybe 11, 12 teams in the whole country that are still undefeated, and a lot of them come from ACC and in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
The SEC, they're struggling this year. There's no like. Even Georgia, like they number 1 team, but they're still struggling to win games.
Yeah.
Alabama's struggling, LSU struggling. So those teams that normally are the most dominant teams in the country, they look pretty normal right now.
Yeah.
So, but we'll have to wait and see.
Dare we say weak?
Yeah. I ain't gonna say that.
If you're an Alabama fan, I really don't care if you're an Alabama fan, but if you're an LSU fan or anybody else, I have respect for y'all. Alabama fans can go on somewhere.
Exactly. But no, man, I think what we're seeing in Colorado for sure is not like nothing I've ever seen in college football history.
Yeah.
So I'm proud to see what Deion's doing. And I just hope moving forward, people just focus on, like I said, I get it. You want to energize your team, motivate your team, but coming at the Deion when Deion's not saying nothing to me, like I said, it seems kind of petty and kind of weak to me as a coach,
right?
To direct your energy to somebody that's not even attacking you. He just trying to do the same thing you're doing every single week, which is motivate and integrate a system that develops into winning.
Yeah. It's a good culture.
Yeah, exactly. A good culture. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm gonna bring some to your attention. See if what you thought about this. I found this stat.
Okay.
On Tom Brady. This is off basketball. This is football. I want to see what you think about this. So this is the greatest stat in NFL history that hasn't been told. Tom Brady has never took a snap in a game where his team was mathematically, eliminated from the playoffs.
Okay.
What you think about that stat?
So that is a 100% true stat.
He's never took a snap in a football game against any team in his 20-some years of playing football. Never took a snap in an NFL game where his team was mathematically out of the playoff, like they were not going to make the playoffs. Because you think about it, from the time he took over as the number one QB in New England, they always made the playoffs.
Really?
Or they were always either winning the division or topping the division. And then, of course, when he went to Tampa Bay for the 2 years, they made the playoffs. Now, of course, his second year in Tampa, of course, wasn't good. But that first year in Tampa, won a Super Bowl. But every other team he's played on, every other year he played, there was never a time he took a snap where they were mathematically out of the playoffs. Yep. Blew your mind. Just blew your mind with that one. And I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, okay. So you said team.
Team, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about just Tom himself.
No, the team, yeah.
Okay.
The team was not mathematically out.
In 2008, that was the only time that Brady actually missed the playoffs because he got injured.
Because he got injured.
But his team still good.
His team was still good. But that year, he tore his ACL. So, but outside that year, not another year.
That's pretty impressive.
Not another year. That's why he the GOAT.
Well, I mean, you won't see that kind of talent again, at least for a long time.
Yeah.
I would be shocked. If one of these current QBs are able to match what he was able to do during his career.
Yeah, there's a couple guys that I can see having similar success. Pat Mahomes. Because to me, he's one of the best in the league right now. A lot of people look at him as a top QB, but there's some guys they won't ever come close. But like I said, there's a few that come close, but I still don't think they will match what he was able to do at the time that he did it.
He just had all the right people in all the right places for at least seven times. Yeah. And that is very rare.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
That's hard to do. Yeah.
So if Pat Mahomes is able to pull something like that off, then I would say he would get dang close.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he got 2 rings now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only 5 away to match him. Do he win 6 more championships in his career? I don't know. That's hard to say because the NFL is so different now, and there's so many great quarterbacks in the league. And
define great. Do we have good quarterbacks or do we have great quarterbacks?
Of course, there's 3 tiers of quarterbacks in the league right now.
Yeah.
There's 3 tiers. I would say
discussed that before.
Yeah, the third, your third tier, that's average.
Yeah.
Your second tier is good, and your first tier is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so Pat Mahomes is part of great. Joe Burrow, great. Those guys are part of that great tier. Yeah. There's a few more guys that fit that tier, and the rest of them are good or average. So, and for my boy Ty, I know he's probably watching. I want him to understand. I told you who Tua was, and I'm not going to say it again. I'm not going to tell you again who Tua is.
He's calling you out, bro.
I'm not going to tell you again. If you don't know who Tua is, you better look him up.
You better come back and defend your spot.
That 70 piece on Denver is not a fluke.
Yeah.
And he did that without his second best wide receiver.
Listen, Tua's always been
he's phenomenal,
natural athlete.
He's phenomenal, John. I'm not lying to you. He's phenomenal. And I tell people all the time, if he doesn't get hit and he has time to throw the ball, he is top tier in the league.
Did I ever tell you the time that he came to TC?
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Tua came to TC?
Yeah.
What was I at?
You were there.
No, you lying, man.
Yeah, he came. Man. This is back when he was in college.
You're lying.
Nah, him and his family, they came one Sunday.
Really?
Yeah, a long time ago.
That's crazy.
I saw this guy, very stocky, tall guy, standing in the back. Yeah. I'm just like, who's that guy? He looks important. But
were you on the stage or you?
No, I was just chilling in the auditorium.
Just chilling.
Him and his brother.
Yeah.
And his family.
Okay.
Yeah, they were there.
That's interesting. Yeah. I wonder who they came. Like
it was one time. It was like back in like early 2018.
Okay. Yeah, he was. I think he was fresh. I think he was a freshman at Alabama at that time, or second year, something like that. Yeah, he was at Alabama at that time. But that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of people that come through our church. That's,
Well, apparently PB knows his family.
Okay.
So, at least one or two people in his family.
Mm-hmm.
So PB's still trying to get him to come back.
Yeah, he need to.
Again.
He needs to. Cause I ain't gonna lie. I'll be a fanboy. I'll take a picture with him.
Yeah.
But like I say, yeah. I mean, I keep trying to tell people he's top tier in the NFL.
He's
when
a
he
great
is not getting hit every other second, he hikes the ball. If he has time to throw the ball, he know how to throw the ball. And Tyreek Hill told everybody when he came to Miami that he was the most accurate quarterback he's ever played with.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look at the results of what you're seeing these last couple of years, you can't deny what he's saying. So, but no, I truly believe that, what he's doing, and if they can stay healthy and don't have no major injuries, there's no reason why they can't make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Within the next couple of years. So, but we have to wait and see. But so I think, John, that's going to wrap it up today, man. I think that was a good episode. I thank you again for being on. It's always cool to have you on. I know a lot of people hear us talking to you.
Yeah, I'm just chilling
in the back, and you making all the wonders, all the wonders of our pod happen. So I'm always glad to have you on, and everybody that watches, thank you again for always watching. Once again, make sure you comment down below. Let us know what you thought about today's episode. Anything you think that we need to implement, any topics you think we need to bring up, please let us know, and we'll do our very best to bring them on our next upcoming episodes. Stay tuned to watch us.
We got a couple things coming up.
We got a couple things coming. So.
We've kind of hit it. We'll hit it again one more time before we end.
Yeah.
But we have a Patreon that is set up.
Patreon, absolutely.
So
for more exclusive content.
If you want to subscribe to the Patreon, you can, and here pretty soon.
Yeah.
All those tiers are going to have assigned merch.
Yes.
So we're also going to have some merch dropping for the podcast. So If you guys are supporters of the podcast, we would suggest that here in the next couple weeks, you go onto our Patreon and or either order some merch or subscribe to the channel.
To the channel, absolutely. Yeah. And I know I said on our last podcast, we was live at the high school event. We have officially found our first sponsor of the podcast. I'm going to have him actually come on here to talk more about what it is that he does, what it is, the product that he has, and how, he wants to, bring it to everybody. So I want him to come on with me, talk about it. But I'm very excited to have a sponsor on the podcast because now we're starting to develop some relationships, in our community and, of course, outside of our community. So I'm always excited about that. So I'm thankful and blessed to have that.
Yeah.
But as always, make sure you like, subscribe, follow us, share all of our content, all of the things you saw today that you see all the time on this podcast. Continue to follow us, continue to support us. And until the next time, guys and girls, we'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day. Peace.